Hey, 3DS dudes with Hawk Creations here, and today I'm going to give you a basic rundown of how to do Pepakura or paper craft. And so today we're going to be making a basic leg piece. And the leg piece is from Halo, and this is what it looks like. And it is scaled down 40% from the original Master Chief. So, Pepakura, you have these pages with lines and numbers on them. And so, the way that you start is, I always start by taking a pen and a ruler. And you can see on here there's really tight dotted lines and there's dashed lines. So I go over all of the dashed lines with a black pen, and you want to press down nice and hard so that way you crush the paper and it folds easier. And I go over all of the dotted lines using a red pen. And your goal with this is that by the time you're done, you should be able to fold the paper and make nice, neat folds, so that way you don't have to worry about bending it or anything like that. So we're just working on the first pieces here. And when doing this, you want to be as accurate as possible, because as you're putting it together, little mistakes will pile up on top of each other until eventually your whole project just doesn't look right. So you just want to take your time and go over all the lines and make sure that you don't forget any or anything like that. So I'm just going to finish up this piece. Pepakura itself is a pretty time-consuming thing to do, but the end project is a pretty good base to reinforce, and I'll go over that another day. But today we're just going to make the first base kind of thing. And so after you get it traced over, you want to take scissors and just cut very carefully along the lines here. And in the end, you will have a lot of paper scraps, so you could save those or get rid of them. I generally try to save as much as I can. And so your red lines are going to be what's known as valley folds, which means that they fold like this. They fold, the two halves go up. Your black lines are known as mountain folds. So you want to take and just fold them down, and you get a little mountaintop. And sometimes if you look, you'll realize that you forgot some of the lines that you were doing, and you might have to go back and redo them. And so if you realize that you missed a line, just go back and redo it. I find that it's easier to go over the lines before it's cut out instead of after. Missed another one. So just cutting this out, trying to be as accurate as we can. And this, I'd say, is probably one of the most important parts. Once you get this done and you just start gluing, then it's all about putting it together. Nice and easy to do. And another thing is, you'll notice that there's times where you have to you could see here, this number and this number are the same, so this fold will attach to itself and create a specific shape. So for the sake of the length of the video, today I'm just going to do a few pieces, show you how to put them together, and show you the end product once again, just so that way you have a good idea of what you're striving for. Now, this Pepakura is a pretty low resolution one, which means that it's got a lot of geometry to it. There's not a whole lot of round spots, and so you're gonna have to put more time into reinforcing it and sanding it than you would if you just decided to choose a smoother model. So we got this piece cut out, and you got to make sure that you cut far into the lines and fold these lines upward, fold black ones down, and it shouldn't take too much force to bend your lines and crease things and make sure that they go where you want them to. But the key thing is that you don't bend them and that you don't rip the paper or anything like that. So you get this folded, and it's almost ready to be glued, so we're going to leave that there, and we're going to find a piece that will attach to this piece. So we're looking for 73, and once we find it, then here we go. We have 73, 74, no, 72, 73, and 75. And it's a pretty basic shape, so we're going to go ahead and get that all ready to go using our and if you're doing two pieces, then it's sometimes nice because you could look at it and you could see what it should look like when you're done. And a lot of times there's just a lot of common sense kind of thing going on here, where if something doesn't look right, you can generally tell pretty early off and correct it. One thing that I've noticed as a general rule of thumb is that there's a lot less, for the most part, I'm not gonna, generalize, but there's a lot less valley folds than there is mountain folds. So sometimes something may not look quite right, and you may have to fold it back the opposite way. like, I don't think that these pieces look like they go together nicely as they do in the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold all the red down, fold all the black up, and see if that fixes the problem, because sometimes whenever you're doing a left model and a right model, the pieces will be kind of flipped around or messed up. So we're just gonna do a very quick fix, get our pieces the way that they need to be, and then we should be ready to go once more. But see, we're all fixed again, and now it looks like it does in this model, but opposite, obviously. So we're going to fold this piece down, and whenever you're doing this, I recommend using cheap pens, because as you're pressing down hard, the ball of the pen or the tip of the pen will generally fall off. And so you don't want to be using your favorite $30 pen to be doing this. As far as glue goes, whenever you're ready to start gluing, I use Aleene's Quick Dry Tacky Glue. And it works really good because it turns tacky almost as soon as you put it onto your project. So you just want to give it a little shake and put just enough on it to kind of get the paper to be sticky. And we're going to start off by doing these two pieces, and you hold it for a few seconds and make sure that you press down really tight, and it's stuck together already. Even though that it's not dry, it's still sticky and it'll still hold really well while you do other stuff and it dries. So that personally, I've tried super glue and the paper just eats it up and it doesn't get absorbed as nice as the other glues do. So we're gonna go 73 at the top of this piece and 73 at the bottom. And you want to put it so that way it's lined up, so that way you're also looking to see if these two sides are lined up as well. And we're going to press down on that and leave it a little bit longer than normal due to the fact that it's actually we're gonna be working the paper a little bit more, and so it'll fall off if you try to use it right after you glue it, and that's no fun. We put a little bit of glue on each side, and depending on the piece, you could hold both sides at one time, which in this particular case we can. So you just want to hold that and wait for it to stick, and then you should be home free. And as you can see here, these pieces look about the same but opposite, and so by the time you cut and fold all of these, you should end up with this piece. And that's pretty much the basics of cutting and folding Pepakura and using it to make halo armor. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to hit that like button.